Welcome to episode 94 of your CySA Plus Prepcast. In this session, we turn our attention to a foundational concept in cybersecurity control types and their purposes. Cybersecurity controls serve as the structural framework through which organizations manage risk, defend against threats, detect malicious activity, respond to incidents, and recover from compromise. By understanding how each control type functions and how they complement each other in practice, analysts are better equipped to build, assess, and improve security programs. These concepts directly support your preparation for the CySA Plus exam and serve as core knowledge for operational success in security roles. Let's begin by defining what we mean by security controls. A security control is any measure or mechanism that helps protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information systems and data. These controls can take many forms, ranging from technical defenses to procedural rules to administrative policies, and are applied across various layers of the organization. They help ensure that threats are prevented, vulnerabilities are managed, incidents are identified and responded to, and compliance requirements are fulfilled. Controls are not isolated components. They are interlocking parts of a larger risk management strategy. Security controls are commonly categorized into 7 primary types: preventive, detective, corrective, responsive, managerial, operational, and technical. Each type serves a distinct role and is applied based on the control objective, system environment, and nature of the risk. Understanding these categories is essential for structuring a complete defense strategy. Rather than relying on a single control type, organizations should implement a balanced mix that collectively provides layers of protection. This layered approach, known as defense in depth, minimizes the likelihood of compromise and ensures that even if one control fails, others remain in place to reduce risk. Preventive controls are designed to stop security incidents before they happen. These controls are proactive in nature and aim to eliminate threats, block unauthorized access, and reduce system exposure. Examples of preventive controls include properly configured firewalls, antivirus software, strong password policies, role-based access controls, and secure software development practices. Input validation mechanisms, secure authentication, and network segmentation also fall into this category. Analysts prioritize these controls during system design and deployment to minimize the attack surface from the outset. Detective controls, by contrast, identify and alert on suspicious or malicious activity. These controls are reactive and work by monitoring systems, collecting data, and analyzing behavior to recognize potential breaches. Examples include intrusion detection systems, log management platforms, vulnerability scanning tools, and audit logs. Analysts rely on detective controls to recognize when a preventive control has failed or when an unknown threat is active within the environment. These tools provide visibility and serve as early warning systems that enable timely investigation and response. Corrective controls come into play after an incident has occurred. Their purpose is to limit the damage, restore systems, and return the environment to a secure state. Examples of corrective controls include patching procedures, backup and recovery systems, and incident remediation scripts. Corrective controls also include system reimaging, access revocation, and malware removal actions taken in response to a compromise. Analysts use these controls to reduce the impact of an incident and to reestablish trust in affected systems. Responsive controls, sometimes overlapping with corrective controls, are specifically focused on real-time incident handling. These controls are used during the active phase of a security event to contain threats, reduce lateral movement, and begin resolution. Security orchestration automation and response platforms, known as SOAR systems, are prominent examples. These tools enable analysts to automatically respond to incidents through scripted playbooks that isolate endpoints, block network access, or trigger alerts. Responsive controls also include containment strategies and incident handling procedures that are initiated once an event has been confirmed. Managerial controls, sometimes referred to as administrative controls, are created and enforced by leadership. These controls include policies, procedures, compliance requirements, employee onboarding rules, and security awareness training. Managerial controls set the expectations for security behavior across the organization and provide the framework through which operational and technical controls are deployed. Analysts often participate in policy development and play a key role in translating these controls into actionable operational practices. Operational controls are process-driven practices executed by personnel on a day-to-day basis. These include patch management, asset inventory, account reviews, user provisioning, and system hardening. Security training sessions, scheduled vulnerability assessments, and change management procedures are also operational in nature. These controls ensure that systems remain properly configured and that vulnerabilities are addressed as part of routine operations. Analysts are responsible for both executing and monitoring these controls, making them a critical aspect of an organization's security posture. Technical controls are implemented using technology and automation. They directly enforce security policies and include tools such as encryption systems, identity and access management platforms, endpoint detection and response solutions, and secure network configurations. These controls operate at the system or software level and are often embedded into infrastructure components or applications. Analysts deploy, configure, and monitor these controls to ensure they provide reliable enforcement of security requirements across digital assets. Each control type plays a unique role, but their value lies in how they operate together. A single control type, no matter how strong, is never sufficient by itself. Preventive controls may stop common threats, but when those are bypassed, detective controls identify the anomaly. Responsive controls contain the damage, and corrective controls restore operations. Managerial, operational, and technical controls ensure these activities are governed, executed consistently, and supported by technology. By combining controls across these categories, organizations build resilience against the full spectrum of cybersecurity risks. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are more security courses on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Preventive controls are often viewed as the foundation of a secure architecture. These controls aim to reduce the chances of a successful attack occurring in the first place. Analysts place a strong emphasis on firewall policies, endpoint protection software, authentication mechanisms, and secure software design principles when configuring these controls. Best practices include enforcing minimum password complexity, implementing role-based access controls to enforce least privilege, and regularly applying security patches to eliminate known vulnerabilities. Preventive controls must be layered at multiple levels, including the perimeter, host, application, and user interface, to be most effective. Detective controls work in tandem with preventive mechanisms to ensure continuous visibility across the environment. Logging is one of the most important detective controls, and analysts must ensure that logs are collected from critical systems, stored securely, and reviewed regularly. Security information and event management platforms analyze these logs in real time, correlating events and generating alerts when suspicious activity is detected. Analysts must tune these systems carefully to minimize false positives, while ensuring that genuine threats are not overlooked. Effective detective controls help security teams detect intrusions quickly and reduce dwell time. Corrective controls must be ready to activate when an incident is confirmed. These controls often take the form of pre-planned actions outlined in the organization's incident response procedures. Restoring from backups, removing malware, resetting passwords, and applying emergency patches are all examples of corrective measures. Analysts document these procedures and test them regularly to ensure they are effective and executable under pressure. Corrective controls must also include business continuity and disaster recovery components, enabling systems to be restored in the event of widespread disruption or destructive attacks. Responsive controls focus on acting during the moment of the breach. Analysts configure SOAR platforms and incident response playbooks to automatically isolate systems, terminate sessions, or escalate events to response teams. Responsive controls are measured by their ability to act quickly and reduce the time between detection and containment. Unlike corrective controls, which focus on repair and recovery, responsive controls concentrate on limiting an attacker's ability to inflict damage in real time. Organizations benefit greatly from combining automation with well-rehearsed human response actions to improve speed and efficiency during live incidents. Managerial controls require a top-down commitment to security culture and governance. Analysts support these controls by participating in policy development, contributing to security awareness initiatives, and aligning risk assessments with organizational objectives. Policies must be clearly written, regularly updated, and communicated throughout the enterprise. Analysts also help enforce these policies through training, compliance checks, and enforcement of disciplinary measures when violations occur. Managerial controls ensure that cybersecurity is not just a technical problem, but a business priority integrated into every aspect of operations. Operational controls focus on maintaining good security hygiene through structured and repeatable tasks. These controls are the backbone of day-to-day security work. Patch management cycles are established to keep systems up to date, user access reviews are scheduled to validate permissions, and vulnerability assessments are performed to identify potential weaknesses. Analysts are deeply involved in executing these routines and ensuring they are consistently applied across environments. These controls often serve as the first line of defense against configuration drift, unauthorized access, or oversight-driven vulnerabilities. Technical controls rely on software and hardware enforcement. Analysts implement encryption to protect data at rest and in transit, configure intrusion prevention systems to block suspicious activity, and deploy data loss prevention tools to monitor information flows. Identity and access management platforms are configured to authenticate users and authorize access based on defined policies. Analysts are responsible for fine-tuning these systems, integrating them with other security tools, and ensuring they remain aligned with policy requirements and evolving business needs. Security control effectiveness is not static. Regular audits and assessments are necessary to confirm that existing controls remain functional and aligned with current threats. Analysts coordinate penetration tests, conduct internal and third-party audits, and perform gap analyses to identify shortcomings in the control environment. These activities help ensure controls do not become outdated or misaligned with risk profile. They also provide valuable insight for security leaders, helping to shape investment decisions and future strategy. Cross-functional collaboration enhances the success of control implementation. Analysts must work closely with IT operations teams to enforce technical configurations, with developers to implement secure coding practices, with compliance officers to address regulatory obligations, and with business units to assess the impact of security controls on workflows. Collaboration fosters a shared understanding of security goals and ensures that controls are not applied in isolation. Analysts act as translators between technical and business domains, helping to prioritize security without disrupting core operations. Continuous training is the linchpin of long-term control sustainability. As threats evolve and technologies change, analysts must remain current in best practices for each control type. This includes staying updated on new preventive tools, advanced detection techniques, forensic investigation methods, secure configuration standards, and emerging technologies in automation and orchestration. Training ensures that the security team maintains operational readiness and can adapt quickly to new risks. It also empowers analysts to innovate within their roles and propose improvements to the existing control framework. To summarize episode 94, understanding and applying different types of controls, preventive, detective, corrective, responsive, managerial, operational, and technical, is essential for building an effective cybersecurity program. These control types are not siloed. They function as interdependent components of a layered security strategy. A well-balanced implementation of these controls helps prevent incidents, detect threats early, respond quickly, recover effectively, enforce governance, maintain operational consistency, and leverage technology to automate protection. Mastery of these control categories not only strengthens your exam readiness, but also prepares you to lead cybersecurity initiatives that are resilient, adaptive, and aligned with organizational priorities. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.